So to kind of focus on how can I give love to somebody else and how can I receive the love that actually is being offered there, because oftentimes you feel like you're all by yourself and you're alone, but oftentimes it's because you walled yourself off and you're in your own head, and actually people are trying to love you, but you're just not aware that they're trying to love you, because I think in general we're very loving creatures. So that's my motto for the month of May, which is exercise discipline and share and receive love. You're welcome. So anybody can ask any questions, and anybody can start, whatever you feel like. You want to start?
Yeah, he will.
He will.
But I will translate for him.
Okay.
He's time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're thinking both of us. Is it both of them or okay. He heals, and when he heals, he sees colors. He was healing my son because he had a concussion, and he saw yellow right here.
Right.
And then he saw a lot of heat, a lot of heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you feel what that is? Why do I see that?
It's actually really, really common. So there's a real strong connection between kinesthetic skill and visual stuff. So it's really common in shamanic traditions that you touch someone, you feel the energy, and you will see colors, or you will see images, or you will see snakes, or you will see any number of things. And it's a strong connection. It's a great connection. So what I would do is I would ask the question, what does the yellow mean? And you know, am I supposed to allow that yellow to move out of the body, or am I supposed to change the color of the yellow? Like, what is the energy really asking me to do?
What do the colors signify?
Usually they're associated with the chakras, and so yellow would be this chakra. So yellow is third chakra. So there's an emotional trauma, which is usually a fear, because this is a fear center. It's fear, it's anger, and again, if somebody's been hit by an injury, you can imagine it's like an aggressive energy is going in. So I would say, okay, it's a third chakra energy, and so I would try and move it off the body. I would try and pull it out of the body is probably what I would do, and then replace it with a better energy, like something that the body feels like it needs. And you can ask the body what color would be healing right here, because a yellow color, an orange color, a red color would be usually an injury. So, yeah, so first chakra would be life force energy. So life force energy is wrong, it's not working right. Orange would be a joy, or the experience of joy, so it's unhappiness or a lack of feeling loved. And then this would be like fear, anger. This would be love or the lack of love. And then this would be a lack of truth or a lack of communication skill. And then this one would be a lack of being able to see a vision of a possibility. And this one would be feeling disconnected from the divine. So, yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, so I love that. It's like, it's really common when I work too, that it's like I can suddenly see colors. And I kind of ask the question, what does this color want? What is it doing? It's sort of the beginning of channeling. So what I've learned in learning to channel is that I just keep asking the questions like, what does this color mean to me? What does this color mean to the person? And usually you get an answer. That's really cool. What sign are you? Virgo. Okay. Yeah, so Virgo is really good earth energy. It's really solid, grounded, stable. So you're born in September? Yeah. So it's a karma. He has a karma of 9. And the karma of 9 is a karma of feeling. So you can't not feel. Yeah. So you feel everything. I mean, it's kind of a pain. It's like, I don't want to feel that, la 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 la. It's like, I don't want to feel that, but you have to feel it. You have no choice. Okay, cool. Okay, somebody else? Okay.
Do you use your ability to trade in the markets?
To trade in the markets? Yeah, actually, I definitely do. I'm one of those people that I'm a little overly cautious. So I'm one of these people that's a little overly cautious. So I mix my intuitive feeling with astrology, with my understanding of the flows and the trends and the patterns, okay? So I tend to mix this up a little bit. So what you find are really good psychics usually will pull from more than one skill. So as an example, years ago I used to say that I was very bad at stock markets and municipal bonds and all this kind of thing. And what I realized was that I felt bad at it because I really didn't understand it at all. So I actually had a client of mine that she said to me, you know, sometimes you say something randomly and that actually ends up applying to the market. And so I was doing it right when I wasn't thinking about it or I didn't get scared. So what I said to her is I said, okay, I need to learn about the markets. So she's a big broker, and so she started to teach me. So what happened was that I've been a client, she's been my client for years, and so she teaches me about things and she explains it. So she explains it so that I have a way to track it because it's something that's foreign to my brain. What I find is the more I understand something cognitively, the less my left brain gets in the way of the information that's trying to come through, and it doesn't block it because it'll make sort of sense. So so now I say I'm not too bad, but I'm still a little cautious. So right before the big downturn happened, 2 years ago, that downturn, I knew that downturn was going to happen. I put it in my blogs. I warned everybody. I said this was going to be a really bad downturn. I said it in June in my blogs, and I actually had a whole bunch of clients that followed that, and I said, it's going to hit September. Well, it hit October, but it's better to be early than late, right? You know, so especially when it comes to the market. So I had a client that said to me, like in February of 2009, she said, "You have saved me $1.5 million in the stock market." I was like, wow, because I just put the information out there and I said, do this, do this, do this, and she did it, and then the market dropped and she saved all this money, which was really great. Now, I'll tell you what I did was that because of the volatility of the astrology and the market and the trends that are happening that are global on the planetary system, what I did was I took my money out of the market at that point too, and I didn't put it back in because of this intense volatility that's there. Now, obviously, I didn't make any money in this upturn because I honestly didn't believe that the upturn would do this. Now, as I looked at it more carefully, I realized that what I hadn't anticipated was that Obama was going to print money. So when he started printing the money, that was my miscalculation psychically. That was the piece that I missed. So when he started printing money, it changed the equation, so to speak. But I don't trust it because you can't just print money. And so then what I tend to do is I'm a real history buff. So people are always like, I look at history and patterns and trends, and I look at the astrology and I go, when did this astrology happen before exactly? What was going on planetarily at that time, and go backwards, 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 backwards to every time it hit. And I do a comparative analysis of what seems to make sense and what doesn't make sense, and what's the theme of this particular energy vibration. Well, the particular theme of this energy vibration is the Great Depression. So the last time, and the pattern that's about to hit in May is the pattern that caused the Great Depression. Then I started looking at the fact that there were certain laws passed in 2002 related to the real estate, that the government basically legalized gambling related to real estate, which is the exact same thing that happened that caused the Great Depression way back then. So we have the exact same set of circumstances, and so I don't trust it. It makes it really weird. So what happened was, because Obama printed the money, we had a false Jupiterian expansion. So this thing is a false high, and it cannot last. I mean, we're having a vertical leap in the market, and you never do that. You cannot do that. It's the last time we had a vertical leap, it dropped like a stone at the Great Depression. So I'm telling everybody, if you're in right now, I say to everybody, just humor me. Just take it out right now and just wait. And if I'm wrong, in August you can throw everything back in and you probably haven't lost anything. But if I'm right, the way the numbers go and the way the history goes and the way the astrology goes, the stock market could drop to 5,000 on the Dow, probably somewhere May, June, July, August. So that cycle right there is the worst particular cycle. Now, I'll tell you myself, if the stock market drops to 5,000 on the Dow, I'm throwing everything I've got back in. Now, do I think it will go lower than that? Yes, but I don't care at that point because I know I've hit the worst of the low. Do you know what I mean? So it's like from that point it can go back up. So, I'm telling everybody to be super careful, and I'm like, just humor me, just humor me, and at least you won't lose anything. You know, you might, if I'm wrong, you might miss a little bit of a game, but not much, because the way the astrology is that there's too much very intense heaviness that's happening right now. There's too much political change that's about to happen. So the last time we had this astrological aspect, we had the American Revolution. And so we're in a time of revolutionary change, which is good, but it's volatile. It's a very volatile energy. So that's my hit on the market at the moment. So anything you wanted to ask specifically?
Yep. So what was your date?
May is when this bad aspect starts to hit. And you're going to start seeing it on the 28th of this month. But May should be a pretty intense month. And the 28th of May is when Uranus goes into Aries, and that's a really bad aspect. So there's a volatility. So when you get disruption with war, you get this volatility. Now, the war could be the economy. The war could be any number of things, but there's a conflict that will arise at that time. And Uranus will be in Aries for 7.5 years. And so right now we're in what they call a fixed cardinal square, which means you, me, and the President of the United States are going to feel trapped in a box of circumstances until about 2015. So nothing will move well once this Uranus goes into Aries for until about 2015. Now, so the real estate, we haven't hit the low on the real estate, it's actually going to go further down. And I had one of my clients that inherited a lot of money, and I said, wait till the fall of 10. Wait till the fall of 10. The low is in the fall of 10. And but he had this incredible opportunity to buy a $1.5 million house in Las Vegas for $200,000, and I said, do it. I mean, that's, you know, that's just such a crazy deal. You know, I mean, it's like there are some really amazing deals, but you know, you want to just kind of know we haven't quite hit the low. But you know, I say to people, you know, the Great Depression wasn't bad. I mean, if you knew how to invest in the Great Depression, I mean, the Rockefellers made all their money in the Great Depression. Like, if you know what the time is, then you can make a lot of money. So I had another client of mine that she had an idea, and she said, I don't want to tell you my idea. And I said, okay. And she said, will it work? And I said, is it under $50? And she said, yes. And I said, is it for women? And she said, yes. And I said, women are always, even in a downturn, women are going to spend little bits of money on themselves. And so that's a pretty safe bet. And so I said, yeah, actually, in this economy, you know, that'll probably work. And she says, well, it's $20 and da-da-da. But what she came up with was an idea of a camisole with a little clip that attached to women's bra straps, so that they didn't have to have a separate strap, that they use the bra strap for the little camisole. And so she just sold the idea to Victoria's Secret for $5 million. See, that's an example. Like, if you know the economy you're in, you can make a lot of money. I mean, if you know that you're going to hit a real estate low, if you invest in real estate, even though it's going to be 2015 before it really recovers, if you're okay with that and you've got money to float and burn, that's what you want to do, because you know real estate's always a good investment in such times. So, you know, if you just, it's like, the important thing to remember is that we had Pluto in Sagittarius, which was about excess, and that went on for a long time, and we are not there. Pluto's in Capricorn, it's conservative by nature. So you want to be conservative, and everybody's doing it. I mean, you can feel it yourself. I mean, you're not going to the movies, you get Netflix, you're not going to the expensive restaurant, you're going to the less expensive restaurant, right? So everybody's already making this adjustment anyway, so it's just about not pretending in your mind that you're in another place that you're not. And so, and don't long for the past, because the only thing that ever happens is change. So to me, the universe isn't trying to personally hurt anybody. The universe is just being the universe, you know, and there's cycles that just go up and down. And so, you know, I try to not take the hits personally, because I just know that if you hit a high, you're going to hit a low. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And if you just pay attention to your intuition and your flow, then you know that. So as a psychic, I learn as I go. And so I had a really bad feeling right before 9/11, and I honestly didn't know what it was. And I even had a dream that I was in a skyscraper, and there were thousands of dead people screaming, wailing in agony. And there was a fireman that came up to me and said, don't worry, the most powerful person in the world just got hurt, but we're going to make sure everybody gets to the other side. And then the next morning was 9/11, and all of a sudden that dream made sense. But at the time I got the dream, it didn't make sense even to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was as clear as a bell. I was in a skyscraper, and there were dead people, and I mean, how, you know, hello, you know. But we'd never had a crisis like that, so my brain didn't know how to translate that information. I didn't even think it was literal, you know, I thought it was taking it metaphorical. So, but what I can tell you is that that feeling that I had at 9/11, I then had again when Israel invaded Lebanon, and I had that same week, I had that same feeling, and I knew at that point it was Israel and Lebanon or Syria. I didn't know which one, but I knew it was one of those two, and I was right. So then now, this time again, I can tell you that I'm getting that feeling again. So I'm getting that feeling again, but it's global now. So it's actually a bigger energy, which means I don't know whether it's the euro that causes China to collapse, that causes the dollar to, I don't know which way it goes, but it's going to affect everybody. Like the feeling is a global feeling now, and it's a big feeling. So, you know, I've been like this going with my own money, and, you know, again, like I said, I didn't get this rise that happened, but I'm safe, you know, so I put everything in, I'm safe, and I'm like, I'd rather wait until I get a clear feeling that now's the time to seize the day, and I'll jump. I mean, I definitely will jump if I get that feeling. It's been too hard to read. It's been too hard to read for me. Okay? Okay?
So, speaking of that feeling, I've sort of felt like my third chakra, this really uneasy, dread feeling today, and I'm just wondering, is it like me? Do you see some change or anything coming up that would?
I mean, my phone has been ringing off the hook. So the energy, especially as Mercury went retrograde, which was just been in the last couple of days, we've had this Mercury retrograde happen with this Saturn coming into opposition with Uranus, which is a huge energy field. And I mean, people are calling me going, what is wrong with me? I mean, you know, because they think it's them. They really think it's them. And I know at this point it's the global energy, and I think we're all dialed into it and we feel it. And you're just feeling this intense, I mean, I feel it too. I mean, I feel this like, oh. So when I feel this, that's why I exercise, because I need to, you know, I need to blow that energy out of my body, because it literally starts to contract me, and I get so scared that I just contract, and I kind of go, okay, the universe has never let me fall through a crack yet. So I have to trust that it's not going to if I listen and pay attention. It's about paying attention to the little messages. So you're very sensitive, and so you're feeling that feeling too. But it's really hard. Like, this has been hard for me, because it's like I can feel that energy, and then they start printing money, and then it doesn't happen. So it delays it. But sometimes when that happens, when it hits harder, which is what makes me nervous. So, you know, it's this interesting kind of feeling with everything. So
can I also ask, do you see any change in relationship or career?
Okay, for you personally. Okay. So one of the things I'm telling people about careers right now is, because of this global downturn that can happen right here, if you're in a solid job, stay put. Just again, humor me, just stay put. Even if you hate the job, just stay put for a second, because I think jobs are going to get harder, not easier. And so it's better to stay safe for a minute until you know which way the wind is blowing, and then shift it, okay? So you are coming up on a change, though. You're definitely coming up on a change. Do you feel that? Okay, so where do you work?
I do several different things, but I have a position of mine, and then I have some home business.
Okay, so again, you know, in an economic downturn, home businesses work great. You know, so all of those things, you know, when you have low overhead and stuff like that, work really great. So I'm telling people, I just read this in a magazine, and there's been this huge upturn of people going to Italy to learn how to make gelato. Because again, in a downturn, people still want ice cream, right? And so they have had so many Americans going to learn how to make gelato that they have created a whole class in English for the Americans to learn how to make gelato. And I love that. Ice cream, it's ice cream. And so, but it's a specific type where they use all fresh fruits and all this kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it's really yummy and it's fabulous. So that's because, again, it's something you could do. It's something everyone could afford to do. You could buy a gelato machine, you could make this yourself, you could create a little store. You don't have to have a big store, you could create a little store. So these little businesses are starting to pick up, and I think it's really good. And I personally keep trying to support Americans that are doing small businesses right now rather than the big giant companies, because I want to support the little guy, you know, I mean, for myself. So okay, so yes, you're getting ready to make some changes. So do you know which one of those things you want to change?
Well, I'm just wondering if I should go more into areas that I wrote about, like working with energy.
Yeah, based on your energy field, I would definitely do that. And it says you love learning too, and so You know, I say to people, I am better at reading energy now than I was when I was 20. And the more you practice something, the more you use it, the more tools you get or ways to navigate energy, the better you get at it. So it is a thing you just have to do it. You know, you just have to do it, practice, and make a few mistakes along the way and do it. But you're good with the energy, so I would definitely have you do that more and more. And what you find is that people are getting more and more frustrated with the medicinal way, and they're going more and more to taking responsibility for their body and trying to figure out how to do it in an energy way, because it's amazing how much stuff in bodies is actually energy that's blocked and not moving well. So you can get that, it makes a big difference. Okay? Yeah, somebody else. Okay.
Same thing. I'm in the same boat. I have a job right now that is good, but I don't really love it. But what I love is the energy as well. I would like to work with energy, healing.
Yeah.
And what do you see?
Yeah.
You see me changing as well.
Yeah, your cards, you have an ace, which is about new beginnings also. Your cards say it might take a year to get all the pieces together for some reason, but I would still go for it. I would still do that. I mean, have you guys tried to think of doing something together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're thinking of you know, even we're going to build this room in our house, outside our home, and just invite people to heal.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd like to also help out in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about healing. I do a little bit of Reiki, but
Right. Yeah.
I like more the teaching and
Right.
helping people understand things about their
Absolutely.
lives. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would definitely do it.
Yeah?
You'd be amazed at how much people really want to shift, but they oftentimes don't know how to shift. And I remember a Peruvian shaman told me, he said, when somebody is ill, they actually don't have the physical life force energy to heal themselves. They actually have holes in their energy, so there's energy just draining all over the floor. And so a healer has to come in to kind of stop the holes and feel the energy filled back up again, and you need help. I mean, sometimes you need help. I mean, there have been many times in my life that, I mean, thank God for the healers. I actually recently, I'll throw out a plug for this amazing healer that I discovered. His name is Guybich Walker, and he's a Thai massage therapy guy. And if anybody wants his phone number, call me and I'll give you his phone number. I don't have it off the top of my head, but he's Thai massage, which is a very different form. So he actually goes to your house and he lays out a little like futon thing and does work, and he puts tiger balm all over your body. But he had the cleanest energy I've seen in anybody, and I'm incredibly picky. I know tons of healers, but he blew me away. He was really amazing. He blew me away, and literally he finished working on me, and I said, I swear there is a special place in heaven for healers. I mean, really, you know, I mean, really good healers. I mean, thank God for the healers, because you could just feel this, you know, divinity that was trying to move through him and doing a beautiful job at it. And, you know, that's what my goal is for myself when I'm working with people. It's like to try and move that divine energy through me to the best of my ability, knowing that I'm human and I have limitations. But, yeah, so, yeah, the healers especially, and people need that energy, they need that connection. And I say to people, I teach classes and teach psychic skills and stuff, because people that are drawn to me may not be drawn to somebody else, or somebody that they're drawn to somebody else, they may not be drawn to me, and that's really fine in my book. It's totally fine, because I can't work with everybody, and I'm not vibrationally aligned with everybody, so people are drawn to your vibration, and that's perfect. That's the way it should be. And so, you know, you as a psychic, you just get these feelings like, oh, so-and-so needs to go to such and such, and I get pictures in my mind of like that. I mean, I even had an image today. I haven't seen a particular woman in almost 5 years, and I was actually reading somebody else, and I all of a sudden heard the angel say, you need to call this person, and because her daughter's coming back, and there's a big problem, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I picked up the phone, and I said, and she goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're calling me. And I said, well, I'm calling you because I got this message for you. And, and she was like, I can't believe you did this, but this is how I work. It's like, I don't know how I get the information sometimes. I just trust it and I run with it and I call. If I get a clear hit, I'm like, I'm calling you and you need to talk to me, and I don't know why, and I'm not charging you because I'm calling you and I don't know why I'm calling you. And she was like, I know why you're calling me, this is why. And I was like, oh, okay, good, perfect, and it was absolutely perfect. But you have to